Hello, welcome along to a brand new Chairboys live. Wycombe, get ready to play QPR. It's a 3:00 kickoff, the 19th of December. We'll keep you busy with all the build-up for the next half hour. And listen, it's been a bit of a disappointing week for many, many reasons. Two tough results to take: Coventry, Bournemouth away, and then obviously the news after we finally let fans in, back into Tier 3, no fans allowed. Although, to be honest, the weather today is quite stop-start, so maybe you are kind of warmer and drier at home. Listen, let me know in the comments where you are watching it from. You can't be here at Adams Park. It's such a ridiculous shame. Let me know where you are. As we get ready for, I want to say the Gareth Ainsworth derby. Gaz spent 7 years at Loftus Park at QPR, and now he's been with us obviously longer, but it's a big game for the gaffer, playing QPR in the league. His first time doing that as a manager. We'll get all the build up. We'll get some check-in with the opposition view as well. Nick Tunney, you might know him from the Bucks Free Press. His days there. He's a huge QPR fan. He'll let us know what's going on in their camp in just a sec. It is 19th versus 23rd. QPR, they're winless in 6. They drew their last game 0-0. And we can't wait. We cannot wait. It's our last game before Christmas as well. So with that in mind, I'd like to know your favourite Christmas games. Maybe it's the last game before Christmas, maybe it's Boxing Day games, but Christmas moments for the Blues that really stick in your mind. I'll let you know mine. Away at Brentford, must have been 2006. 1-0 down at half-time, came back to win 3-1. Do you remember that one? Let me know your favourite Christmas games in the comments below. Let's just crack through some of these as well. Hello to Dave Mead, who is in Perth, Australia. Sorry, I'm awful, aren't I? Whenever I've got something where I have to do an accent that I read, so well done. Thanks so much for that, Dave. Thanks for getting in touch. Hello to Sheila as well, who's in sunny, wet, cold, drab, High Wycombe. Thank you so much, Sheila. Hello to Simon Birch as well, who's down in Barnstable, North Devon. Up the bit of an AFC. Thanks so much, Simon. Hello to Michael as well. Thank you for tuning into us from Denmark. Lovely to have you along. As I say, we'll keep you busy for the next half hour or so. We've got all the build-up as Wycombe get ready to play QPR. It is 19th versus 23rd. And let's check in now, shall we? Hello to Tom Baldwin, who's here. He's working with the club with us this season. Tom, how you doing? Get yourself off mute. Here we go. I need to unmute. Tom, you need to take yourself off mute.
Can you
just there we go. Hello, Tom. I can hear you.
There you go. How you doing, Dan?
Of everything that's happened this week, I think you being on mute for a few minutes is we'll push that down to the bottom of the list. It's all right. Yeah, I'm very well, mate, Tom. I'm very well. Listen, you've been at the club in and around Adams Park this week. How has the mood been since we learned that we can't let fans in after Thursday?
Yeah, obviously the huge elephant in the room today is the lack of fans again in the stadium. If any of you caught Pete's interview on Sky Sports, you know the club was absolutely gutted. And we obviously can't wait to have fans back as soon as it's safe to do so. Obviously, the game against Coventry, the fans were huge, and that, the last-minute equaliser that never was with Scott Cashket, that was electric, to be quite honest with you. But it's just such a shame that we're not going to be able to live that one for quite a few months probably, but yeah. So, but on today's game, anyway,
sorry, Tommy, that was so you are bringing the mood down. I gotta say, the mood's been low anyway this week. So let's tell you what, let's tap into the gaffer's positivity. He won't want us languishing on anything. So come on, big game today, 19th versus 23rd. How does the team look for the Chairboys?
Yeah, so although we just played Bournemouth in the week, and although we only managed to lose by a goal, I think it was indicative of the squad's effort, and they've been hugely hard working. And Wycombe haven't lost by more than a goal since the start of the month. So positives are certainly there. With QPR, obviously, it's been a while since we last played them. Our last campaign was back in 2003, or last game against them was in the 2003-04 campaign, where Gareth Ainsworth actually lined up for the R's. And in terms of relationships that QPR and Wycombe have, it goes back quite a long way. We have quite a few players and managers, to be fair, who have played for both sides. So we have Michael Harriman, Gareth Ainsworth, of course, Matt Ingram, Tom Heaton, Marcus Bean, and obviously current players, Giles Phillips, David Wheeler and Josh Parker, and of course Eze, who now plays for Palace in the Premier League. I think he just played Liverpool I think the less said about that scoreline, the better. And QPR have actually beaten Wycombe away, or haven't beaten Wycombe away at Adams Park for their last 3 visits, I believe. So, and interestingly, on QPR's website, they picked out Ainsworth, McCleary and Joe Jacobson as the 3 big players for Wycombe's lineup today. And they could be 3 players who can make the difference today. So let's have a look at the lineup today. Wycombe start with Ryan Alsop in goal. Then we have a back line of Jack Grimmer, Joe Jacobson, Josh Knight and Jason McCarthy. And then into the midfield, we go with David Wheeler, Darryl Horgan, Gareth McCleary, and Nick Freeman starts after coming into the team when Alex Patterson was suspended. And then up front, leading the line, we have Akin Fenlon and Scott Cashgett today. So it should be a very interesting game.
There's been calls from many fans this season to see more of a technically proficient Wycombe side, one that are maybe more comfortable than perhaps other teams that we do play at getting the ball on the deck. So seeing Nick Freeman in there is a real boon for us, I think. Let's just see how he does. He's a brilliantly technically gifted player. I think he could do with a bit of confidence in certain situations. So I'm very excited to see what's happening with him. Listen, you're at Adams Park right now. I know that we can't have fans there today, as I've said before. I'm going to try not to harp on about it. But there is still a chance for fans to get involved with the game as a virtual mascot, isn't there, Tom? Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so the virtual mascot today is Theo Ward. I've actually got a bit of information on him. His favourite players are Gareth McCleary, Darryl Horgan, Scott Cashgett, and Josh Knight. So I'm really hoping for Theo they're able to put in a banging performance today as we come up against the QPR side who aren't exactly in great form. I will mention briefly, because obviously I know we've got our QPR correspondent coming on. So I will mention briefly that QPR's last game was a goalless draw against Stoke City. And ours manager, Mark Warburton, was very complimentary about Wycombe, as many managers in the Championship are, talking about their togetherness and their unity in the Chairboys squad. He also mentioned briefly about Gareth and Dobbo and his relationship with them. They go way back, apparently. And in terms of team news for QPR, their key absentees are fullback Lee Wallace and Osman Kakai. And whilst Luke Amos and Charlie Owens remain long-term absentees.
Tom, thank you so much for joining us today. Stay safe out there in the rain. Listen, let me just run through a few more of your comments, see where you're watching us from. Hello to Antonio, who is in Brazil. Hello, Antonio. Thanks so much for joining us, the other side of the world. Hello to Lee. Oh, no, that's my dad. Hello, Dad. Hello to... I just had Lee. Hello to... There you go. Hello to Lee, who's in deepest, darkest Cornwall. Lee, thank you so much for joining us, for spending your Saturday with us here. Now, listen, just before we crack on with the rest of the show, I think it would be nice just to take a moment, as Dave says here. Sadly, yesterday, long-standing Chairboys fan, well-known through Lokes Park, through the Adams Park days, Ian Mitchell sadly passed away yesterday. So later on, if you're watching the Strictly final, hopefully celebrating 3 points for Wycombe, just raise a glass to Ian Mitchell, who sadly can't be with us. Dave, thanks so much for getting in touch to tell us that. Now, listen, we'll get a little update, the opposition view from Nick in the QPR camp in just a sec. But even though you can't be here, let's have a look around at stunning Adams Park, shall we? And just see what's going on in the build-up before we play QPR. Look, our house is not the same without you. As you can see by that, the stand's looking just dreadfully empty. When you think about last Saturday, when we managed to squeeze 2,000 fans into the ground, all brilliantly socially distanced, we were unlucky to get a result, as Tom referenced earlier on, a very tight offside call against Scott Cashgett denied the Chairboys a point against Coventry. Although, as we did say in the build-up to that game, us losing against Coventry, perhaps it wasn't the biggest surprise. I mean, we could play as Barcelona against Coventry and we still would end up losing. I really don't know what's going on. But let's have a little look back at last Saturday's game. For the first time in pretty much 10 months, we welcome fans back in. Football is back at Adams Park with fans in the stadium on a Saturday. 2,000 Chairboys fans will be here to see us take on Coventry City, a fixture which traditionally hasn't really been a happy one for the Chairboys. This could be the game where the boys bounce back.
I just think it's fantastic. We've got people back to the stadium.
They've improved every single game. Every single game. Last week's game wasn't quite so good as the others, but
The atmosphere will be nice. It's nice to get back.
Yeah, so that's a Jordan Shipley. He's made it to the 100th appearance in 5 years.
We are Wycombe Wanderers. It's just the sort of game where we're going and cause an upset.
Listen, nobody will relish playing us, and I'm very proud of that. You know, at this level, you can't get goals. We unfortunate for the first one, little mistake. Let him in. He scored a great strike, Kelly. And then the set play. We've got to defend set plays, but we know that at any level. Really pleased that the fans are back in. There's 2,000 fans been waiting years and years to see Wycombe Wanderers in the Championship, and I think they'll be proud of what they saw today.
Hopefully you were proud, and hopefully we'll get a call or two to make up for the calls or two that have gone against us over the last 7 days. Very quickly, before we check in from Nick, the sports journalist who's going to tell us all about QPR, let's just fly around the world with the worldwide Wycombe phenomenon. Hello to Ramiro from Montevideo in Uruguay. It's amazing. It's utterly baffling for me, as I'm sure many Wycombe Wanderers fans, to see our reach now. I mean, I grew up 10 miles away and people raised an eyebrow when I mentioned that I supported Wycombe back then. Hello to Adrian, who is in Louisiana. Thank you for watching us, Adrian. Hello to Rona Grimmer. Rona must be a relation, I reckon. Thank you for joining us up in Scotland. Let's see. Hello to Ryan as well, who's watching us from Lafayette in Louisiana. Thank you, wherever you are joining us from all around the world, for spending a little bit of your Saturday with us. Just under half an hour to kick off now. Wycombe, 23rd in the league, take on QPR, who are 19th. Let's get a little bit of the opposition view, shall we? With Nick Tunney, sports journalist, used to report on Wycombe. Now you are, but you're a QPR fan, right?
I am, Dan. I am, yes. Bit like yourselves, down the bottom end of the table, but hopefully both our teams can get some wins and put us in the right end of the table.
Now, listen, I'll say to you what I say to everyone who gives us an opposition view. I know very, very little about what's going on around us in the Championship, just because I like to focus on what's happening here at home. So just tell us, I guess, the tale of the tape from the QPR end. What have you made of your season so far?
It's been a strange season. There's been games, certainly against the bigger sides, like Brentford, where we've more than competed. We had a good run. We beat Cardiff, Rotherham. I think we got 10 points in sort of 5 games at the back end of last month. And then that Brentford game, we were 1-1, in my opinion, on top, and they should have had a man sent off. Eventually lost that game. The following game, all over Bristol City in the first half, go on to lose that game. And then we've been on a rocky run since, no win in 6. The goals have dried up in the last couple of games as well. And, the players look like they lack a little bit of belief at the moment. And it's a worry. But the defence, last 2 or 3 games, looks a bit more solid. So hopefully they can score the goals at the right end of the pitch.
Nick, you've seen many, many, many football games across all levels. So it's 6 winless for the R's. I mean, you spoke there about the defence getting better, but maybe the boys are lacking a bit of confidence. Where has it gone wrong after the Brentford game? What's going on the pitch where you think you're not really finding the goals at the moment? Just
Mistakes, really. The Bristol City game, prime example of that. 1-0 up, could have been 4-0 up if not for Dan Bentley in the Bristol City goal. And Naki Wells scores an equaliser right on half time, and it just kind of drains the belief out of the players. We've got a really young squad apart from the likes of Jeff Cameron, and I just feel like they need a little bit of an arm around them sometimes. And as I say, we're going to lose that Bristol City game. Then we have a stinker up at Huddersfield. We played really badly, lost 2-0. Since then, as I say, Warburton and the defence, they've shored it up. But apart from, I think, Elias Chair's goal against Mill was the last goal we scored kind of 2.5 games ago. So, it's kind of that balancing act, really, trying to keep those clean sheets, but also, you need to look at threat at the other end. And at the moment, they're just kind of, as you say, lacking in confidence.
Now, Warburton came to QPR with a good track record at Brentford and then at Rangers, if I remember rightly. And I guess last season, it was his first season, wasn't it? He might have had the benefit of the doubt, seeing what's happening, what tweaks he's going to make. What have you made of how he has got QPR playing? What's the grand plan for Warburton?
Well, they're certainly more attractive to watch than kind of previous, under previous managers that we've had. Obviously last season we had a Berrieze, obviously well known to Wycombe fans as well, what a player he is. And then we had Naki Wells with us last season and Jordan Hugill, and I think they got 45 goals between the 3 of them, and that's so hard to replace. So we sold Eze obviously to Palace, and we haven't got a lot of money, so that a lot of that Eze money got invested back into the club, and we had to sign the likes of Lyndon Dykes, who's never played in England before. We signed Macaulay Bond from Charlton, Rob Dickey from Oxford, and the bulk of the Eze's money has gone on those 3 guys, and the other half of the Eze transfer money has gone, as I say, back into the club. So we've signed a lot of young, unproven players at this level. Some have paid off at the moment. I think Rob Dickey is superb, really good centre half. Lyndon Dykes, I feel, is still finding his feet a bit. He's got potential, but he looks a bit isolated up front at times on his own. So we're still trying to play attractively. We've got the players still. Say Samuel and Chair are very good. It's kind of getting the ball on the ground and playing quickly. But as I say, once we can see that they just go back into their shell a little bit sometimes.
As a fan with an analytical eye, who would you like to see prove themselves for Warburton on the pitch?
Well, I mean, the former Villiers chair, and even on, despite a bad run that we're on, the former Villiers chair, I mean, he's sticking out like a sore thumb at the moment. He's playing really well. His goal against Mill was a cracker. Against Stoke the other night, I thought he was head and shoulders the best player on the pitch. He's really good. We've got some youngsters coming through. Left back Nico Hammerleinen signed a contract recently. He's shown a lot of promise at left back, but he's still got a lot of improvement to do. He's still only young. And Seni Dieng in goal, who was on loan at Doncaster last year, is a really, really good young keeper at this level. So those guys are proving themselves at the moment, which is great. The future does look bright, to be fair.
So you've seen signs that Warburton might start to get QPR to rise up the table?
Yes, as I say, we do create a lot of chances. My issue is at the moment we look a first half team. We usually start really quickly. We fly at the traps. That Stoke game proved that we were very good early on, but once we lose that plan A a little bit, the plan B sometimes isn't there. Personally for me, I'd love to see two up top. With Bon and Dykes playing together, but the manager has his own ideas, has his own system with Dykes and Chair and Willock, or say Samuel playing off him. So I do see the potential there. They've got a very attractive team to watch. We've proven we can play well against the best sides. So here's hoping that the Christmas festive period can bring us some more wins.
Now, the last 10 years of being a Wycombe fan has seen us traditionally be in the competition for something. Either we're trying to not go down or we're trying to go up. It sounds quite blunt. What's the point in being a QPR fan right now? What would you like to see happen this season? Is it a case of just staying in the league? Do you want to make a go at the Premier League at some point?
I want to win the title. I'm a football fan. I want to see us go up. But realistically, I think, at the start of this, we finished sort of right bang mid-table last year. Even with the likes of Eze and that, the defence last year, in my opinion, was poorer than this season. So that we have made an improvement in that respect, along with the goalkeeper. I think if they can finish sort of where they finished last year, 12th, 13th, I think that's a success considering the players we've lost. So that would be good. And then, these players who we've brought in will be even better next season. But I think once we get that prized asset like Eze, we're a selling club now. So we're going to sell the likes of Ebbs for big money. I think the next cab off the ranks is going to be, say, Samuel. Hasn't signed a new deal yet. He might go for cheap, but you never know. He's a player on his day who can rip apart any fullback at this level. He's a fantastic player. So that's the issue. Our prized assets might go, but you hope that your club that you support has some ambition. Certainly, I want us to be at the right end of the table, competing with the big boys.
Now, you've mentioned a few names already, but people watching it at home, give us a few names that we should look out for in the white and blue stripes.
Well, the aforementioned, say, Samuel, he's got blistering pace. He can play on either wing. Very, very dangerous player. Whoever plays against him, whether it be Jacobson or Grimmer, will have their hands full. Ilias Chair, as I say, his form has been great despite a poor run in recent weeks. He's got that creativity. He's got a big heart, very industrious. And Rob Dickey, I think well known to Wycombe fans, ex-Oxford, very, very good centre-half. He's proven his worth, very good in the air, but also very, very good with the ball at his feet. So I think those three guys are three certainly to watch out for today.
Now, you're in the safety of your own home, wherever that is, so you're not going to get an angry mob just yet. But remember whose stream you're on. What's the score going to be, Nick?
I've just got to sit on the fence, haven't I? I think, obviously both teams are having a bit of a rocky run at the moment. We're not getting beaten terribly. Neither are Wycombe. It's by the odd goal or getting a good point here and there. I think it's going to be another draw. Let's say 1-1. I'd be happy with that.
Right, that's it, Nick. That question is coming off my list of questions that I'm ever asked to get anyone ever again. Nick Tunney, sports journalist, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Cheers, thank you.
Hope you enjoyed the game slightly less than I do. And for the observant amongst you, I only managed to fit in 2 bread puns for Mark Warburton there. A little bit disappointed, I got to say. Now, beating QPR at Adams Park can be done, not just beating them, thrashing them. Take your minds back to 2001, when Wycombe played the R's and ran out 4-1 winners.
Sticking to his job, but Curry coming in, and Divine rather gets the cross in. Chance to throw the bridge. Wycombe Wanderers 1, QPR 0. Flicked on, chance here, and he's got to score. Curry intent on getting that ball curled in. Head of Rammel, and Andy Rammel, who makes his first appearance of the season, puts Wycombe Wanderers 2-1 in front. Rammel in the 6-yard box, and Rammel has got his second. Teases his way through there, it does. Ballman sets it up for Simpson, and it's in the back of the net.
There we go. That ended, didn't it? Michael Simpson there right at the end. Obviously, he was my favourite player when I was young. Now, this is our last game before Christmas. Last chance for Gaz to make a tilt at the Christmas number 1. He's got to take on Justin Bieber and the NHS choirs. So, you know, in with a shot, I reckon. He's released a new song, hasn't he? Drawing Straws. I assume you have heard all about it. Wills and the Willing, raising vital money for dementia charities across the country to investigate the link between football, heading the football, and dementia in later life. If you've not heard it yet, this will finish the show brilliantly. Nice bit of Christmas to close. This is Wills and the Willing, starring Petr Cech and Gareth Ainsworth with Drawing Straws.
Rudolph says 9's a crowd, even Santa's bubble, only 6 are allowed. So the reindeers are busy drawing straws to see who ride the sleigh this year with Santa Claus. Staying indoors and saving lives, protecting the NHS. The 8 o'clock clap for the front line, who gave us their very best. And the boy from Withershore, with the world at his feet, roared like a lion. Now they're listening in Downing Street. Rudolph says 9's a crowd, even Santa's bubble, only 6 are allowed. So the reindeers are busy drawing straws to see who ride the sleigh this year with Santa Claus. Elves are busy working hard, so Christmas this year goes well. They're wearing masks, they're wearing gloves, and still using their hand gel. The internet can deliver almost anything online, but only Santa can deliver Christmas on time. Rudolph says 9's a crowd, even Santa's bubble, only 6 are allowed. So the reindeers are busy drawing straws to see who ride the sleigh this year with Santa Claus. Who will ride the sleigh this year with Santa Claus? We shall never surrender, to coin Winston's phrase. Captain Tom went walking, hope's beacon in dark days. Now wash your hands more often, wear your mask with pride. COVID-19 vaccines coming, nowhere for you to hide. Rudolph says 9's a crowd, even Santa's bubble, only 6 are allowed. So the reindeers are busy drawing straws to see who ride the sleigh this year with Santa Claus. Rudolph says 9's a crowd, even Santa's bubble, only 6 are allowed. So the reindeers are busy drawing straws to see who ride the sleigh this year with Santa Claus. Who will ride the sleigh this year with Santa Claus? Staying indoors, saving lives, protecting the NHS. Staying indoors, saving lives, protecting the NHS.
Brand new from Wills and the Willings, starring Gareth Ainsworth and Petr Cech. That is Drawing Straws. It is out right now. Download, buy a copy if you can. Raising well worth the money for dementia charities all across the country. Thank you so much for watching. It's Wycombe versus QPR. 14 minutes to kick off. 19th versus 23rd. Fingers crossed it's a Chairboys win so we can go to the lovely Christmas season where we can't really do a lot with 3 points. Fingers crossed for that. Thank you so much for watching and a very Merry Christmas from everyone here at Wycombe Wanderers. Thank you very much.